Easy call. So we back at it again, and I came across this clip, right? And he was talking about this old school cartoon I used to watch. It was called Pinky and the Brain.
This is a real character. Pinky and the brain. What's wrong? Pinky. No, the brain. I never wanted to be the brain. I know that sounds crazy, but like Pinky and the Brain was about this brilliant mouse who had all of the ability to take over the world, but he was loyal to his friend Pinky because he was dumb. And it was like, if the brain actually, Pinky, if the brain got with someone who had more capabilities than Pinky, the brain would actually take over the world. But his loyalty to his dumb friend keeps him trapped in the cycle of rinse and repeat, and never getting to the next state.
And to sum it up, he was just basically saying how in this cartoon, the brain was a genius. He basically always come up with these ideas. He can always figure shit out. But his downfall was he was loyal to the Pinky. Pinky was the one that was always just fucking up, man. And the brain was so loyal to his friend that he could never maximize his gift, right? And I feel like that's something that we need to talk about, if you come across this vlog, because have you ever been in that situation where like you felt like, you had tremendous upside, you was in the group, you was the one that was always ahead of the group and always, in tune with what was going on, but then you had certain people around you that will always kind of like hold you back. And that's kind of like a crazy statement, because like nobody could really hold you back, but you was just loyal to a fault that if you would have got around the right group of people that was in tune like you was in tune, how much you could have flourished and progressed in life. And when you get older, I think those things become a bigger value, right? Because you start to understand, like, when you're growing up, you always have your grandmas or your moms or your peers. They always be like, this is a phrase that they always use. They always say, you are the company you keep. And I thought this clip was dope because this is a cartoon I used to watch. But now that I'm older, I have a different perspective on how he's breaking this clip down, Pinky of the Brain, and how that cartoon, if you really can understand that cartoon, it's just like what he said. Like he was a genius. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was the whole synopsis of this cartoon, that the brain was a genius. He can always figure shit out, but he could only go so far because he always had to kind of like help his friend out to get him to kind of like get him out of some shit or get him in tune, instead of being around a group of people that was always like, okay, figuring out with him and propelling and pushing him to go further and pushing each other to go further. And I think, this is something I wanted to kind of chime in about, because you got a whole generation that are, to me, because of social media, a lot of times are followers. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these kids, in my perspective, like they have a following mindset because of social media. We so trained to be like, whatever's working, let's just stick with that, versus trying to think outside the box. And then once you start thinking outside the box, find people around you that can elevate your ideas and thoughts, that think outside the box with you. Sometimes we get complacent because of comfortability. Whenever you're comfortable, a lot of times you'll never maximize your growth, because growth comes with uncomfortability. And so a lot of times, just I think that's the hardest part, is not necessarily like leaving your friends behind, but just coming up with new friend groups and having pockets for certain friends. Like you got your friends that that you're trying to build something bigger than you with. Then you got your friends that you grew up with. That's that pocket. Then you got your fun friends when you're ready to have some fun. You tap in, go out, whoop de whoop. I think we don't know how to like categorize that growing up, because we think like whoever you grow up with, you're supposed to be loyal to that person or those people. But I think to ultimately grow, you have to have different pockets of people to push this to another level, because you become a product of your environment. And coming from the circumstances we come from, a lot of times we don't know a lot of shit. And then when you are the one that's a little bit ahead of the group, shit, it's only so far you're going to go, because you don't have those extra resources and people that kind of like to take you to those different levels. So I just thought this was a dope clip because it's real. Like when you really break down this clip, especially for all my like 80s babies and 90s babies who watch this cartoon, you're gonna be like, damn, it might be some truth into this. You know what I'm saying? It might be some facts into this if you really can look at it from a different POV. So easy call, man.